Hello, and welcome to our next video in Module 3. Now that we have identified the priority data points that will serve as the basis for your annual student outcome goals, including your Closing the Gap goal if you're a Gold Star school, your next task will be to begin writing your goals in SMART goal format. As you recall, annual student outcome goals are centered around the outcome data, and outcome data is achievement, attendance, or discipline data. Remember that you should also make sure your goals cover academic development, college and career readiness, and student well-being. Student outcome goals are written in SMART goal format. They are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. There are a few things to consider before writing your goal in SMART goal format. Decide if you are going to focus on one group or the school as a whole. If you are focusing on discipline referrals and you are working with only students referred for bullying behavior, you probably don't want to include all discipline referrals in your goal. If you can't or it's difficult to collect outcome data for your goal, consider looking at a different goal. For instance, having students complete a career assessment may be a strategy you want your counseling program to focus on, and you may be tempted to make this an annual student outcome goal for your counseling program. But in and of itself, the activity of students completing the career assessment is not targeting attendance, achievement, or discipline data, so it can't serve as a goal. Completing a career assessment is one strategy of a larger purpose, helping students be prepared to reach their career interest, and one of the best ways school counselors can do that is ultimately help students be prepared for the appropriate high school course of study. So for middle school as an example, an academic outcome goal could be used here, such as increasing the number of students passing all courses, with the career assessment being one activity of a bigger plan. So often we want to start with strategies such as having students complete a career interest assessment or teach stress reduction strategies. But remember, we want to be intentional and strategic in our work, and the way we do that is to flip things around and start with creating goals based on student needs we know exist because of what the data tells us. Strategies will then come later and will be targeted to our goal and its root cause. If you are accustomed to using perception data from a needs assessment or a survey for the basis of your program's goals, for example, wanting to decrease the number of students who said on a survey that they were experiencing a high level of stress, ask yourself instead, how might stress be impacting students' achievement, attendance, or discipline? Look at your school's data. Is this self-reported stress impacting students' success at school? Are students missing class or chronically absent? Are achievement or benchmark tests results low? Do students have incomplete or missing assignments? Are they not passing classes? Are there discipline referrals resulting from behavior issues or outbursts in the classroom? The survey results may help inform the reasons or root causes for these achievement, attendance, or discipline outcomes. But your goals should focus on the resulting impact on achievement, attendance, or discipline. The survey results, the reason, root cause, will later help us design the most appropriate intervention or strategy, such as stress reduction techniques. But at this moment, we are focusing on just developing the outcome goals themselves. Another important point to remember when setting goals, it's often easy to fall into thinking big, that we need to move the needle on big things, like our state achievement test scores or our overall school attendance rate. But really, if we want to make an impact, it's best to start with a more targeted approach, zeroing in on smaller, more achievable goals. We're in this for the long haul, and big changes don't occur overnight. In fact, that's why so often school reform or improvement movements get discarded or abandoned. When things don't change or improve immediately, people lose interest or give up. Think of this process instead as chipping away at the bigger issues by strategically targeting key pieces of the issue and where we'll see some success that will keep everyone motivated to keep working. Now that we've pinpointed data points, remember if you're a Gold Star school, one should target a gap group of students. In the last task we completed, we know who and what we want to target. For example, we have a large number of our second grade students not meeting benchmark on DIBELS, and we notice that there's a larger number of our economically disadvantaged fifth grade students who have 10 or more unexcused absences as compared to all other students. Now we need to begin converting these data points into your student outcome goals in SMART goal format. Again, Bronze Star schools only need one goal. Silver and Gold Star schools need three, with one being the closing the gap goal for our Gold Star friends. Remember, SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, and time-bound. Your goal statements should be clear and concise and centered around achievement, attendance, or discipline outcome data. They don't include strategies, activities, or any other information. So let's get started. We'll do the very same steps for all of your goals, including your closing the gap goal. In step 1, you'll identify your targeted timeline. When do you plan to see if you've met your goal? It may be by the end of the school year, a specific semester, or grading period, for example. Step 2, identify your targeted group. Which students are you hoping to impact? Be specific. Is it all students in a specific grade level, or students who aren't passing a specific assessment or with a certain type of discipline referral, for example? Step 3, do we want to see an increase in something or a decrease? For example, an increase in the number of students who are passing 8th grade algebra, or a decrease in the number of students who are sent to in-school suspension for classroom behavior? It's easiest to stick with increasing or decreasing the number of students who. For example, if you're wanting to see an improvement in test scores, remember that you are targeting the number of students with improved test scores, not the test scores themselves. In other words, your goal would be increasing the number of students who pass the state exam, or the number of students whose scores improved by 10%, but not by increasing the scores themselves. Step 4. Next, we'll fill in our baseline data and our target data. Our baseline is wherever we're starting. So if our data point that served as the basis for our goal showed that we have 47% of 8th grade students who are not passing the state standardized math assessment, our baseline is 47. We'd like to see a decrease, so our target data, what we're aiming for or hope to achieve, will be reducing that to 35% of 8th grade students who are not passing the state standardized math assessment. Aim a little higher than you think you can reach. Goals that are too easy don't provide much motivation to work on them. But aiming too high can make your goal overwhelming and easy to give up on. Use your best judgment for choosing your target and the amount of change you hope to achieve. And remember that a small percentage change can have significant impact. The percent change of your baseline data to your target is automatically calculated here once you enter your baseline and target numbers or percentages. So in our example, reducing the percentage of 8th grade students who are failing the state standardized math test from 47% of 8th graders to 35% of 8th graders calculates to a 26% decrease, which is pretty impactful. Remember that percent change is not a simple subtraction problem, but don't worry, as long as you enter your baseline data and your target data, we'll calculate the percentage change for you. Here's another example using the data I've selected for my closing the gap goal. In digging into my data, I realized that among the students who were chronically absent, a larger number of these students were in 6th grade and are economically disadvantaged. So my closing the gap goal seeks to reduce the number of economically disadvantaged 6th graders who have had 10 or more absences in a semester. Notice that in this goal, I am targeting a number of students instead of a percentage like I did in my first goal. You can choose to use either percentages of students or number of students, but just be sure that whatever measure you choose stays the same for your baseline and target. I also have chosen a shorter goal time frame. My end date will be at the end of the next semester. You'll be able to take a look at your SMART goals once you create them. Review the SMART goals by clicking on the report icon. Here's my sample report with the 2 examples of annual student outcome goals I've created in the SMART goal format. Your tasks to complete now are to create your annual student outcome goal or goals written in SMART goal format. Gold Star schools make sure that one of the goals is also a closing the gap goal. One more step forward. Please remember to reach out with any questions or concerns. You can contact me at rfraser@doe.in.gov. If your question pertains to the online platform, you can also contact Amy Portis of Inspire Success, our technical partner, at amy@inspiresuccess.org.